Kind of like a fig Newton, but like 80 bazillion times better. Stumbled upon this place by accident. Glad we found it. Can go in here and change into my Superman outfit. Started with a bowl of olives. Look at the size of these things. Like, you can't even do them in one bite. There is a storm that is kicking up. Welcome to Destination Eat Drink, the travel channel for foodies. I'm Brent Peterson, an American living in Portugal, but today we are in Malta. Specifically, we're on the waterfront of the capital, Valletta. And if you don't know where Malta is, I don't blame you. We told people we were going to Malta, they said, where is that? I have no idea where that is. And when we first came here 10 years ago, I really didn't know a lot about it other than Humphrey Bogart's movie, The Maltese Falcon. But to give you an idea, Malta is in the Mediterranean, south of Sicily, north of Africa. So it's at this crossroads. So it's a very important place in history. Strategically, it's very important. The Knights of St. John were here building defensive fortresses. And because of all that people moving in and out of here, it has really interesting cuisine. So the Maltese cuisine is really good, but there's also influences from places like North Africa, from Sicily, from all kinds of places, and it's really, really good food. Surprisingly, you know, if you haven't heard of Malta before, you might be like, Maltese food, what could that be? It's really good. So we're gonna try as much as we can during this trip, and we're gonna start out here in Valletta, eat some good food, see some cool things, and then we'll go around the island and maybe go to some other places as well while we're here in Malta. This is the upper Barrakka gardens, and the gardens themselves aren't that impressive. There's some eucalyptus and some other flowers, some palm trees here. I mean, it's nice, and there's a cafe here, but the real attraction is the cannons that salute every day at noon. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see some guns go off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that the gun was loud enough and that you've enjoyed today's firing.
This is Cafe Cordina. They've been around since 1837, so must be doing something right. I've been wanting to get this for quite a while now. This is a honey ring with fig. This is a very popular Maltese pastry. The outer crust seems pretty hard. Wow. So it's spiced. Cloves, cinnamon. Oh my God. So good. Kind of like a fig Newton, but like 80 bazillion times better. Super tasty. So we were just gonna get that, but then Karen spotted this. Cannoli, yes, but it's filled not with ricotta cheese, with pistachio cream. How can you pass that up? Shouldn't come as a surprise. We're so close to Sicily. They love pistachio here. There's so much stuff with pistachio and pistachio cream on the menu. And you got cannoli topped with powdered sugar and filled with pistachio cream. My God, that is amazing. Wow. Malta was a British colony for a couple hundred years, so it's no surprise that they've got these red telephone booths here, these famous British telephone booths. They don't have any phones in here anymore. They're just for nostalgia purposes, or can go in here and change into my Superman outfit. So Valletta and Salima all have harbors that protect them from the fury of the Mediterranean, but you walk across to the other side of the peninsula and this is what you get. We had a great lunch at this place called Il Gabbana, and walking around here, there's a storm that was kicking up. And so we walked along the shoreline here, and boy, it is really high, the surf. And there's even some crazy people out that way who were practicing sailing. And I recognize those boats, they're very small, but everyone seems to be staying upright and we're staying dry for the most part. This is Lahori Dhaba in St. Julian's, and this is an Indian Pakistani restaurant. Really nice. This upstairs area is really, really nice. And there's a lot of Southern Asian people here in Malta. I was surprised the population must have gone up in 10 years since we've been here. So there's lots of good Indian food. You also see a lot of kebab places, but lots of good Indian food, lots of good Asian food, fusion food here. So this place is an Indian Pakistani restaurant, and we're the only Americans in here. We're the only Caucasians in here. So you know it's good when it's filled with Indian people. Spinach and potato. Classic Indian. Ooh. Nice cumin flavor to that. And then Karen got a mixed vegetable. Spicy, tomatoey. Yum. Really good. Then I got a mocktail. This is thyme simple syrup, ginger beer, lemon, and they garnished it with a little mint. Super tasty. That's really good. I like it. Didn't feel like having any alcohol, so that's a nice twist. And they have an extensive mocktail menu. So good stuff. Stumbled upon this place by accident. Glad we found it. This is Cafe Jubilee, and this place comes recommended by our buddy behind the desk at the hotel, Michael. He said it's really good, so looking forward to it. And I can tell what Karen and I decided to do is share a bunch of antipasti. Started with a bowl of olives. Look at the size of these things. Like, you can't even do them in one bite. They're so big. Shouldn't be surprising, got these big, massive olives like this because we're so close to Sicily, and Sicilian olives are some of my favorite in the whole world. So good. So, olives, yum. And then we got this. This is a broad bean and garlic dip served with just unsalted crackers. Creamy, garlicky, yum. This is a local white wine from Gozo. Malta is made up of 3 islands. The main one we're on right now, Malta Island, and Gozo, smaller island. That's where a lot of wine production and agriculture goes on. And then, had to get this. This is traditional Maltese bread called ftira, 11 bread, and they serve it with, well, they serve it a bunch of different ways. Like, you'll see it like sandwiches almost, but then this is like open with crushed tomatoes on it. Oh man, this bread is so good. Maltese are known for making amazing bread, and you can see why with this bread. It's absolutely divine. What a cool place. And this place is so small. There's a little dumbwaiter over there. The kitchen is down below, and then the seating area is up above. So you hear this little buzzer go off when your food arrives. And the waiter goes over there, he grabs it out of this little cupboard and brings it over to you. Such a charming place. Really, really like this Cafe Jubilee. Behind me is the St. John's Co-Cathedral, a definite place for you to visit when you come to Valletta. It may not look like much from the outside, but on the inside, it is incredible. A huge church and one of the finest as far as artwork goes that I've ever seen in Europe. Starts with, you walk in and you see the vaulted ceiling, several panels that are absolute masterpieces. But what I really like about this place is the naves. There's over a dozen naves, and you can actually walk through them. Most churches, you stand on the outside of the nave and you look in. These you can actually walk through and get up and close and personal with the artwork and really get an idea of what it is. They have an audio guide. The audio guide is outstanding, explaining what you're looking at. And each nave is dedicated to what's called a lang, which is a division of the Knights of St. John. Knights of St. John came to Malta after they got defeated and kicked out of Rhodes. Before that, they got defeated and kicked out of Jerusalem. They were a crusading army, crusading Christian army during the Middle Ages. And they made their big stronghold here in Malta, built this incredible church. And each nave is dedicated to a division of the Knights of St. John, what's called a lang. And the langs were divided by geography. So you've got a lang from Italy and from France and from Spain and from Portugal, different parts of Spain, different parts of Portugal. So it's pretty incredible in there because there's all kinds of artwork that's French and Italian and Spanish and really, really, really high quality and really fun and interesting to look at and to learn about. But that's not even the best part. The highlight is Caravaggio. Caravaggio was a master painter in the Renaissance, and he did his most large-scale, incredible work called The Beheading of St. John here in Malta, and it's on display in there. You can see it. You can learn a lot about it. It is an incredible piece of work. But Caravaggio is an interesting guy. He was in Rome doing his work when he had to flee because he murdered a guy. He had an incredible temper, killed a guy, had to flee, went first to Naples, then came to Malta, hoping to get a pardon from the Pope. While he was here, he did some incredible work, including the beheading of St. John. And he was also trying to become a knight, which eventually happened for him. However, again, his temper got the best of him. He beat a high-ranking knight here in Malta, almost killed him, and was defrocked right in the room in front of his masterpiece, The Beheading of St. John. He must have understood the irony. Thrown in jail, eventually escaped jail and fled Malta. So you can learn a lot about Caravaggio in there. There's a lot of interactive little displays that you can see that will teach you about him. This is one of the finest churches in all of Europe and a definite must-see when you come to Malta and Valletta. Time for a quick lunch. This place is called Number 43, and it's just a little tiny galley space in there where you can make your own salad or bowl or wrap. Tons of stuff to choose from. We got these noodles. lemony. Lentils. Nice. Hate it when lentils are overcooked and mushy. These are perfect. Have some bite to them, and they're spicy. Green beans and peas. Tasty, fresh. Mushroom and zucchini. Nice combination with some parsley on it. Give it a little brightness. Go with that umami of the mushrooms. Really good. And powers up for the rest of the day. All this together, Karen and I will split this bowl. 2 waters, 15 euros. Good deal. Behind me is the Church of the Shipwreck of St. Paul, and legend has it that in the 1st century of the Common Era, St. Paul was shipwrecked here in Malta and set about to convert the locals to Christianity. So St. Paul's a pretty big deal here in Malta. You go inside the church and man, there's a lot of silver work in there, a lot of silver work, and it's free to get in, so it's worth your time. Supposedly, they have a relic, a wrist bone of St. Paul on display there. I looked at the guide, I read about it, and I went to the spot where I thought it was. I couldn't find it, but maybe it's being prepared for the big Shipwreck of St. Paul festival. We happen to be here during this festival. It's going to be in a couple of days, and apparently they parade the wrist bone around the city, probably with some other colorful statues as well. And this is worth, 10-15 minutes to go inside, see all the cool silver work. Maybe you see a wrist bone, and you're in and out, and it's pretty cool. This is Sotto Romana Pizzeria. Sotto means below, and that makes sense because this is kind of in a basement. You had to come down some stairs. It just seems typical here in Malta. There's a lot of below ground stuff that you have to go to in these restaurants, and they end up looking really cool in here. What we got was what's called a pinza, and it was a Roman pizza invention that actually was invented just a few years ago, a couple decades ago. My friend and New York Times best-selling author Katie Parlow was on my podcast, and she told me about the invention of the pinza. The guy who invented it in Rome, this guy was a marketing genius. He invented the pinza, and he said, oh, it's an ancient Roman recipe. It wasn't. It was just something that he made up, but everyone in the media jumped on it, and you still see people calling this an ancient Roman recipe, but it's not. It's basically just kind of a flatbread with toppings on it. We got the norma. This is a tomato sauce with eggplant, and on the top is ricotta salata, which is a salted ricotta. It's not a soft, loose ricotta. It's it has the texture of like an aged cheese. So that's why it's not all melty. Anyway, let's give this a try. I love ricotta salata with tomato sauce. See this in ricotta salata in Sicily a lot. And that's why they call this the norma. It's based on a dish called pasta alla norma, which is a Sicilian dish. So it's kind of combining a Roman pinza with a pasta alla norma from Sicily. Really cool idea. Yum. And a little IPA to go with it. Yum. Wanted a light dinner. We'll see how we do. This thing's a lot bigger than I expected. Better get going on it. So if you're looking for a place that has a bunch of vegetarian and vegan food, this is a good spot. It's called Soul Food. Good name. It's not all vegetarian and vegan, but if that's what you're looking for, they have several options for you. I got a spaghetti aioli because I wanted something just very simple. They had several pasta dishes to choose from if that's what you're interested in. I like about this. First of all, they cook the spaghetti properly. It's al dente. And some nice heat to it. I'm going to steal a bite of Karen's. She got this vegan wrap that has arugula, tomato, eggplant. She's already started on it, so. Oh, wow. Tahini sauce in there is really good. Nice. And then wash it down with a little bit of this prickly pear soda. Chill spot, quick lunch, really good. I like it. Good job, Soul Food. Yum. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little foodie and site tour in Valletta, Malta. It's been a lot of fun making this video, that's for sure. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed so far. Appreciate that. We drop videos every Wednesday of foodie and travel content. So we've got lots of good stuff coming up. So stick with me. And if you are planning a trip to Portugal, pick up our foodie travel guide ebook to Portugal. It contains all 17 of my city guides to Portugal in one ebook. That's almost a $60 value for just $9.99. You can get that at buymeacoffee.com/destination-eat-drink. Also have a podcast, Destination Eat Drink. Those episodes drop on every Friday, and they got foodie stories from all over the world. It's been going on for many, many years now. People seem to really enjoy it, so check out the podcast as well. I'm Brent Peterson. See you down the road.